Okay, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. My name is Peggy Kurtz. Before we begin, I want to mention that we are recording this meeting, but we've set the settings so that you should not be visible in the recording. I'm here this evening to explain the Village of Haverstraw program, renewable energy program, which is called Rockland Community Power. It is a community-based clean energy program in which the village is participating. And what we're talking about here this evening specifically is renewable energy for electricity. You may have participated in the village electricity supply program in the past. That program ran successfully in the previous round for 18 months and ended in September, as it was scheduled to do. Now the village electricity supply program is relaunching in May of 2025, following the previous successful contract. Again, participants will be able to power their homes and businesses with renewable electricity through the Rockland Community Power Program. I'm the community coordinator for Jewel Community Power, which is the program administrator. If there's anybody here this evening who is Spanish speaking, please let us know. I do have a coworker here, Krishna Zamora, who is bilingual, and she can do the presentation in Spanish. So here's a quick overview of some of the topics we're going to be covering. Sorry, let me just back up. Quick overview of the topics we're going to be covering this evening. I'll explain the benefits of the program and how it works. I'll go over the role of Orange and Rockland, how enrollment works, and I'll leave plenty of time for your questions and for discussion. So let's start with just a quick overview of the benefits of this type of program. The type of program is called Community Choice Aggregation Program. I'll go in more detail into each of these as we go forward. Clean, renewable energy is available through the program, competitive fixed rates, strong consumer protection, and more choice for consumers. You have all the same choices as before. Nothing is taken away. I just went over an overview of this, what I'm going to be covering in the presentation. So what is Community Choice Aggregation, or CCA for short? CCA programs allow municipalities to aggregate the energy demand from the participants and negotiate bulk purchase for eligible residents and small businesses. Essentially, with CCA programs, municipalities create a large buying group together with other municipalities through which residents and small businesses may purchase their electricity supply. And these programs, as I just said, enable municipalities to leverage the buying power of that large group, which usually comes to thousands of households, to negotiate competitive rates for residents and small businesses. So if you move into Haverstraw today, to the village of Haverstraw today, O&R will automatically be your electricity supply provider by default. Sorry, I just want to pause for 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so this as I said, if you move into the village of Haverstraw today, O&R will automatically be your electricity supply provider by default. This program shifts the choice of default supplier from the state to the village so that your elected officials can make the choice that's right for your community. The village can select renewable energy, as it has, as the default, in this case, 50% New York State renewable electricity as the default energy source for your electricity, and they can do so at a competitive rate through the large buying group. CCA programs were authorized by the Public Service Commission in 2016 and are overseen by the Public Service Commission. In 2019, in response to climate change, New York State passed groundbreaking climate legislation. which mandates an unprecedented transformation of the state's electric grid. The electric grid must be powered 70% by renewable energy by 2030, so that's just 5 years away, and it must be 100% carbon-free by 2040. The state cannot meet these goals, which will ultimately help to protect our communities and our own families without local action. The program we're discussing today helps communities take a major step in the direction of meeting those state goals for renewable electricity. And in fact, state regulators recognize CCA programs with renewable electricity as one of the most powerful climate actions a community can take. CCA is a growing movement across the country and in New York State. CCA started in New York State with a pilot program in Westchester County, and today close to 2/3 of Westchester communities are in a similar program. So now let's take a look at how this actually works in terms of logistics for the consumer. O&R remains as your utility. In New York State, the utility no longer actually supplies the energy for electricity. The utility essentially has become the middleman, delivering the electricity to you, to the customer on the right-hand side of this screen. What changes with CCA is the energy source for the electricity. Instead of the utility purchasing power for electricity on your behalf from power plants, largely powered by gas, the power for the electricity is supplied instead through the CCA program with the option for renewable energy. As I mentioned, in this case, 50% New York State renewable electricity. With CCA, O&R continues to deliver the electricity, repair and maintain the lines, and bill the customers. They are still the ones to call in the event of power outages, which should be no more frequent than before. So you can see the same distinction between supply and delivery on your electric bill. Taking a closer look at your bill, this is page 2 of an O&R bill. The explanation that I'm about to give will apply to you if you participate, if you decide to participate in the program. So on page 2 of your bill, you can see the electricity charges. Sorry, let me back up. You can see the electricity supply charges at the top and the gas at the bottom. Again, the CCA program only impacts this CCA program, Rockland Community Power, only impacts the electricity supply portion of your bill. This has no impact on the gas portion of your O&R bill, if you have gas on your O&R bill. Within the electricity portion of your bill, there are 2 subsections. On the right-hand side is delivery charges, and this portion does not change because the utility continues to deliver your electricity. What does change is the supply charges on the left-hand side of the bill in the red box. Note that I've dropped in this red box on the left-hand side, but usually there will not be a red box around the supply charges. But that's where you will see the charges, the changes, if you are eligible and if you decide to participate in the program. There you will see the name of the new supplier. My cursor right now is at it says your electricity supplier, Constellation New Energy, CCA. Constellation was the supplier in a previous round of the program. In the new program, once it starts in May, you will see Direct Energy, which is the new supplier for the Village program, which was selected in a bidding process. Under the title, at the top of that red box, you see your supply charges, and then immediately under that, you see electric charges. Immediately under that, you will see the number of kilowatt hours that your household used that month, and the rate, which is in this particular case, it was, let's say, 500 kilowatt hours at 7.238 cents per kilowatt hour. This was from quite a few years ago. everything in that box will be different, new supplier, new charges, and of course the kilowatt hours that you actually use. So you will also see, you see at a little lower in that box, you see electric supply charges. So this is basically just bringing down that same number. Below that, you see Rockland County electric sales tax, and then the total electric supply charges are your electric supply charges plus the sales tax for electric sales, and you see 3764 in this particular case. Both your delivery charges, which go to the utility, and your supply charges, which go to the supplier, are calculated based on how much electricity you use. In other words, in the kilowatt, how many kilowatt hours you use. Okay, so now let's take a look at the enrollment process. Most O&R customers are eligible to participate. Those who are eligible are automatically enrolled in the program, but can opt out at any time. All eligible customers will be notified of their options and how to change their selection within the program or opt out if they so choose. Okay, so I'm sorry, back up a couple of slides. Okay, so most O&R customers are eligible. Let's take a quick look at who is not eligible. Everybody else, aside from these categories, these 5 categories, is eligible. So at the top, we see the first category is customers who have already contracted with a third-party electricity supplier or ESCO or energy service company. The second category is customers with a block on their account. These are customers who have requested for O&R to place a block on their account in order to ensure that they're not enrolled in supply from third parties. Home Energy Assistance Program or HEAP recipients are not eligible. Customers on time of use accounts also not eligible, and larger commercial customers, small commercial customers are eligible. Larger commercial customers, what's called demand accounts, are not considered eligible. So none of these categories will receive the mailing, and they are considered not eligible. If anybody on this Zoom, if these categories pertain to you and you would like to participate in the program, we can talk about that more in the Q&A if it applies to you. Okay, so 30 days before the program launches, you will receive a mailing with information about the program. That mailing will give you 3 easy ways to opt out. Again, eligible customers will be automatically enrolled in the default option within the program unless they opt out before the program begins. But there are 3 easy ways to opt out. First, you can do so with a postage paid reply card that is included in that mailing within that packet. By calling the helpline, you can also opt out, or through the online enrollment/unenrollment form. You can also change your option within the program because, as you'll see in a minute, the Village of Haverstraw is offering more than one option. One default, but they're also offering a second option, and you can change your option within the program through the helpline or the online enrollment form. So now let's talk about the rates. In the Village, the default option is for what's called 50% New York State renewable energy. And I will explain what that means, the 50%, in a minute. In the top line in white, you see the trailing 12-month average for O&R pass rates from October 2023 through September of 2024. These numbers are updated quarterly, so when you get that mailing, you may see an updated average. It may be different from what you're seeing here. The green row below that with a gold star is, as I mentioned, the default rate for the Village of Haverstraw program. That rate is for 50% renewable at 11.21 cents per kilowatt hour. That's the default rate for the village. If you receive the mailing and you do nothing, you will be switched into the program with this rate. Again, you can always opt out at any time or switch within the program. The row that's highlighted in blue on the bottom shows a second option that's available within the village program for 100% New York State renewable energy at 12.09 cents per kilowatt hour. So let's just pause for a minute to look at the differences between the O&R rate and the program rate. So the first difference is the O&R rate, trailing 12-month average, is included by the state for the sake of comparison, but because the rates going forward are not known because the rate varies from one month to the other. But keep in mind that the O&R rate is for past rates and it's not for future rates. Utility supply rates are variable, as I've mentioned, and they change from one month to the next. So we don't know, for example, what the rate will be in January, let alone in May. The program rates, by distinction, the program rates are fixed or guaranteed. There are no surprises in the program. O&R supply rates are also for electricity sourced largely from power plants fueled by fossil fuels or gas. Within the program, you have the option to receive electricity supply powered either by 50% New York State or 100% New York State renewable energy sources. As the state puts it, if you choose the renewable product offering, you will pay a premium for this product over the utility standard product pricing. With another way of saying that is that the clean energy, in this case, renewably sourced electricity, is still somewhat more expensive than electricity powered largely by fossil fuels. By participating, you will be contributing to achieving New York State clean energy goals, and you can make a measurable positive environmental impact by reducing your carbon footprint. There are no extra charges or fees. Everything is included in the posted rate. However, I just want to mention that the chart does not include something called the gross receipts tax. What you will see on your actual O&R bill will include the gross receipts tax, and it will be labeled as GRT, and that's collected by your village. So the rate for 100% renewable, the rate for the 100% renewable, if you bundle the gross receipts tax together with it, is 12.21 cents per kilowatt hour. And for 50% New York State renewable, the fixed rate is 11.32 cents per kilowatt hour. But note that the gross receipts tax, the GRT, is included in your electricity bill, whether or not you participate in the CCA program. So these are the actual rates, but the GRT will be added to your rate, whether or not you participate in this program. Okay, so what's the difference between 50% and 100% New York State renewable energy? 50%, the 50% option means that 50% of your electricity supply is matched by renewable energy certificates, also called RECs, provided by New York State renewable power plants, hydropower, wind, or solar. The remaining 50% is matched by RECs sourced from other U.S. renewable electricity sources, but are not tracked or verified by the New York State Department of Public Service. The 50% renewable option is not counted as 100% renewable by New York State. 100% New York renewable option means that 100% of your electricity supply is matched by renewable energy certificates or RECs provided by New York State renewable power plants, hydropower, wind, or solar. And you have both of these options within the program, but the 50% is the default rate if you do nothing. Okay, let's talk about the timeline. I've mentioned before that all eligible households and small businesses should get a packet in the mail. You can expect this packet in mid-March. That will be followed by a 30-day opt-out period from March 10th to April 8th. However, anyone can opt out at any time. The actual program will launch May 1st. And at that point, you will see your default supply, if you do nothing, will be 50% New York State renewable, and you will see direct energy listed on page 2 of your O&R bill. I've mentioned a couple of times, by the way, that packet will also include the same rates we've just discussed, the terms, the benefits, and the conditions. It will also include questions and answers and information about more information sessions. So what's the difference between the 30-day opt-out period and opting out after the program begins? The difference is that once the 30-day period is over, you will be automatically moved into the program if you do nothing. If you opt out after the 30-day period, it will take 1 or 2 billing cycles to leave the program and return to supply from the utility. However, you can opt out at any time after the program begins by calling the helpline and by filling out the enrollment form online. And there's no fee to opt out, or you can also opt back in or change your supply option within the program. After the 30-day period, the program will launch, and then on your next bill, after the launch date of May 1st, you should see the name of the new supplier on page 2 of your bill in the supply portion. So just so that you get an idea of what to expect in terms of the materials, the envelope, you will get an actual mailing, paper mailing, and that envelope will come from your municipality. On the outside of the envelope, it will say important notice regarding electricity rates. It will include the village logo, which is how you'll know that it's a legitimate mailing. This package, as I mentioned, will include the letter with your options, a chart similar to what you just saw, which includes the program rate, default, the rates, and compares the program with a trailing 12-month average, which will be updated for the rate. Included in that package is the opt-out card, and this is similar to what will be in that package. You can fill it out and return it with a prepaid envelope to opt out if that is your preference. Again, the card may look a little bit different from what I'm showing you here, but I'm showing it so you can get an idea of what to look for. I'm sorry, that wasn't supposed to be there. Now I'm going to go quickly through some frequently asked questions. Does this program replace your utility company? No, you continue to pay your utility bill, and your utility remains responsible for delivery and maintenance of the electric grid and billing. Does it impact the reliability of your electricity? No. Your utility continues to deliver your electricity and provides the exact same service whether you participate in the program or not. Will the program save you money? Savings are not guaranteed within the program. I just know that when people ask us whether you will save money, basically what you're really asking for is a comparison with the utility rates. But utility rates change from month to month and are not published in advance. So there isn't any way for us to know what utility rates will be next year. What if you want to change your supply choice? Once the program launches, you may call the helpline or fill out the enrollment change form on the website to change your supply selection, opt out, or opt back into the program, again, with no fees or penalties. Can you participate if you have your own solar panels or if you participate in community solar? Yes, even if you use solar power, you are still required to have a supplier on your utility bill to cover any electricity not provided by your solar. I'm happy to answer more questions about solar panels or about community solar in a Q&A if either of those apply to you or if you have any questions about it. What happens when the program ends? When the contract ends, your municipality may choose to renew participation in the program. If not, you will automatically switch back to your utility, selecting your supply on your behalf. I like to end with some of the benefits. There's the opportunity for 50% or 100% renewable electricity in the program, competitive rates, strong consumer protection, no individual contracts, and no exit fees at any time. And here's the, I'm sorry, just back up for a second. Okay, here is our contact information. The helpline is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, 845-859-9099. The email for the program, if you have questions, you can also email info@rocklandcommunitypower.com. And the website, there's lots of information on the website, www.rocklandcommunitypower.com. And now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm ready for your questions. I think I don't see any questions. So I'm going to end the session now. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you. And if you have any questions, please contact us through the helpline or through the email. Thank you.